Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, everybody. So I want to talk a little bit on something a little bit more concrete than the usual stream of consciousness bullshit that I have going on this channel. In my free time, I watch a lot of YouTube. I don't watch very much television. And as you may have noticed from the nature of my channel, I watch a lot of the same things that I talk about on this channel, which is atheism and atheism's objections, in particular to Christian apologetics. I got an idea to make this video from rewatching actually, one of the very earliest things I was watching on YouTube while I was doing kind of the back end, the final stages of my deconversion, which was Thunderfoot's Why People Laugh at Creationists. Now, little fat tire made just down the road from my hometown. Good stuff. Now, I think towards the middle of it, I think like number 28 or something, Thunderfoot is mentioning a apologist who has a tactic that is very similar to what I dealt with on the Bible Thumping Wingnut show. Now, what I want to talk about for hopefully less than 10 minutes here is what I think is the easiest way to refute a large number of not just presuppositional apologetics, but apologetics in general. Now, the very first thing I've ever actually done myself on YouTube is I contributed to a video by one of my very favorite atheist vloggers, PW Swivel. I was the voice of a character me and him put together that was just a dog that was chilling in the monster, the Frankenstein monster, that's PW Swivel's trademarks, just on the floor of his nice living room, and I begin to talk about my objections to objective morality. And this was when I was still very new to what was going on with the discussion between atheism and Christian apologetics. And I didn't really realize how on the spot, on the nail, so to speak, I was on the major weakness in Christian apologetics, which is false equivocation, particularly of the idea of moral law. See, Thunderfoot has this guy that he's showing on his channel. I don't even know if he mentions it by name. I have no idea who the guy is. But he's telling a story, and the story goes that he's giving a lecture, and in the question and answers portion, this guy objects something about the problem of evil, very common Christian philosophical concept. And the guy says, well, you say there's evil. And the guy says, yes. And so if there's evil, there's good. Yes. And if there's good and evil, then there must be a moral law. Okay. If there's a moral law, there must be a moral law giver, or else there's no such thing as good and there's no such thing as evil. So if you want to say something is evil, you must appeal to a moral law giver, which is God. I have never accepted the concept of objective morality, and many atheists have. I don't know if it's fair to say, but I think Sam Harris is willing to grant some concepts of something that is considered an objective morality, a universal morality. And Matt Dillahunty is a very popular atheist, one of the guys in the atheist community of Austin. He has the Atheist Experience show that's fairly popular. He's willing to go with objective morality. I have never and will never and am not going to go along with objective morality, because objective morality is not real. Morals are not real. There's no such thing. Now, I know at least one of you who's left comments on my channel has actually watched my experience in the Bible Thumping Wingnut show. Somebody give this guy a medal, all right? Because that was a very, very long thing, and I kind of played with them a little bit, and the most part is because I didn't believe that I was ready to go at them like some people have right there on the show, that I mostly just kind of assuage their ego and appeal to them. And because I was more ignorant than maybe the next guy on the show of the way they argue, I wanted them to do most of the talking, so I didn't talk back very much. Not as in I didn't talk very much, as I didn't object as much as I could have, because I didn't believe I could fairly represent my objections to anybody's satisfaction. Now we know that it's very hard to meet theirs. But here's the thing is, I realize now that I've actually gone back and watched more people who've been on that show, that there is, just like many of you have commented in the comment section of my videos, that there is a script. There is a technique. And I've kind of hit on it before. There is a logic trap. They get you to agree to the existence of good or evil, and then they drag you through a causal chain of premise by premise to moral law giver. And they don't even bother with saying who is it, only that it's a God. Now, no, it's not. They were a little bit off the cuff that night, and Tim, the Bible thumping wingnut himself, was surprisingly quiet. He didn't say much, and none of his lackeys were in a mood to run the script on me except for Andrew. I don't know exactly what his shtick is. I'd only ever seen him on the show when I was there. And I realized from watching many other people on the show that they got through about step 2 of 12 or so. You know what I mean? Very small percentage down the line. And here's the important thing. Here's the rub. This is the purpose of this video that I'm trying to tell you. Is I wouldn't give them premise 1. Without even really knowing what I was dealing with, without knowing the rules of engagement or the rules of the game, I won at step 1 because of my own personal beliefs. And this might help you deal with much more than just precepts. Okay, this is a major foundational support of Christian apologetics, objective morality. They told me, is logic a thing? Is there such thing as the laws of logic? I said no. And they were a little bit baffled because it's an emotional hook. They want me, the science worshipping at the altar of evidence atheist, to say, yes, but no. If I were to describe to you a purple people eater in great detail, does that make it such that the idea, the concrete idea of the purple people eater is real? No. If I were to describe to you the very concrete idea of good, does that mean that good is real? No. Good is an adjective. Just like snazzy. Is snazzy a thing? Can you touch a snazzy? Can you test a snazzy? Is snazzy even an objective meter of something? No. Now, the major refutations that you usually get are, is baby rape okay? Is mass genocide okay? Is the Holocaust okay? Is murder okay? Depends. The thing is, these are very close to, but not so, but very close to, universally bad or evil things. But they are bad and evil because almost universally everybody agrees. And in fact, there kind of does have to be something wrong with you instinctively, psychologically, even biologically, for you to say otherwise. But the thing is, creatures are evolved to have certain behaviors. A mother bird doesn't literally teach a bird to fly. You know, I mean, a fish isn't literally taught to swim. But also, there is no force that imparts swimming. You know what I mean? We instinctively are social creatures. Any even casual perusing of evolutionary concepts, especially in new works of Richard Dawkins, that describes where behavior kind of comes into evolution. But you only need to look at a school of fish. Even carnivorous fish, like piranhas, specifically what Thunderfoot used as an objection. Why don't they eat each other? It's instinctual. these things don't clearly possess emotions or self-awareness or concepts of art or empathy or juxtaposition or putting yourself in another person's shoes or walking a mile in their shoes or seeing yourself through another person's eyes. Human beings literally have cognitive processes that are damn near unique to be able to conceive of a construct, a model of another person without actually seeing that other person. You can have a mental conversation with your mother, whether she's dead or alive, in the room or not. You know her and can guess, predict, a better term, what she would say back to you. And that is because you're a social creature who has instinctively gathered these behaviors. You don't want to die unless you have a severe chemical disorder in your brain. You don't want to die. And surprisingly enough, again, unless you have something of an actual medical disorder, you don't want to kill people. Only very extreme situations that would provoke an act of self-preservation or the protection of other people that you have developed a social instinctual bond with, you're not going to kill anybody. You know why? It's not because you know God in your heart, and it's not because anybody told you. These are behaviors. And I don't need to be a medical doctor and evolutionary biologist to explain this to you. Look, when you feel pain, there's endorphins that release in your brain that tell you no. When you feel pleasure, there's endorphins in your brain that tell you yes. But you don't set these triggers yourself. You're born with them. Do you ever wonder why poop smells bad? Before anybody even knew what a germ was, evolutionary biology developed an instinct that taught you not to shit where you eat because shit is laden with bacteria that will kill you. And it didn't take a scientist or a god to reveal that to you. Good and evil are just instincts, just descriptions like snazzy or cool. There are psychologists who can give you a rundown of what cool means, just like what nostalgia means, why music is interesting and intriguing to humans and some other animals. You didn't decide that. No agent decided that. And the desire to find agency in all things is documented. You can find it. You will instinctively like, at the very least, if not want, the idea for a concrete, solid, cosmic law like gravity or the electromagnetic force that dictates what good and evil is. But if you want to defend a gamete, a zygote, a fertilized egg as a life, then when that egg is 18 in a human being, you're okay with sending it off to war to kill and be killed by definition. Or if it grows up to develop aberrations in its behavior that are too criminal, like the aforementioned baby rape and genocide and Hitlerism and yah, and you want to kill it, to punish it to death, the death penalty. These don't go together. It's either you're pro-life or you're not. So here's the thing. Consistency, if it really matters to you, you should ask yourself this question. Am I pro-life, and if so, am I pro-death penalty? If I believe that vengeance belongs to the Lord, then when do I ever have the right to stone or kill a person? If we should all live in charity, give all our possessions, and follow only the word of God, why should we ever gather onto ourselves a society and seek to protect it at the cost of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions or tens of millions of lives. I would provide a description link below. The very first thing I ever done on YouTube, the video I did for PW Swivel. This was well over, almost, I think over a year ago, before I had ever really practiced talking in front of a camera. And he asked me to send him some audio, and that's the thing. And my opinion hasn't changed, even with all the looking at Christian apologetics I've done. And if you have any ideas on how to strengthen this concept, or if you agree with me, or even better, if you disagree with me, please say. You know what? I don't monetize my videos, at least not yet. I don't really mind if you subscribe. I don't even really mind if you like or dislike the video. I want comments more than anything, so if I can provoke you to give me something, what I have to gain is your ideas. That's what matters. Thanks for watching as always, and take care.